I can wrap up the intro. You go to your meeting.
All right, everyone. I have a very important meeting to go to because I'm a very important man, and I can't continue to talk like this because they're waiting for me at this moment. God bless America.
Okay.
Bye. Okay. I'm going to stop recording.
All right. So I will continue this. Bye. So as you heard, Rob needed to leave. He needed to go to work because we got a little bit of late start this morning. But we have a few stories today. Actually, we have two main stories today. Neither one of them are really positive. So and we also don't have a lot of information to give on it. So if you want to just hang out and listen to us fumble around talking about tariffs and the bleak outlook of the future of Cartoon Network, then great, you could do that. And we have a pretty quick rapid fire at the end. I did want to give a couple of recommendations. These will be on the website, Moby Gratis. It's where he posts a whole bunch of songs that you can use just as you like. They're free music, royalty-free music. You can remix them and use them in whatever projects you want. There's a lot of them, and he's uploading a whole bunch more. And then there was a video that was uploaded by James Lee, animator James Lee, who does a lot of these kind of stylized, I'd call them like pixelmation type of live action videos, and it was called How I Think Creatively. So if you're in kind of a block, a writer's block, an artist block, whatever, maybe take a look at that and might help out. So I want to say welcome to episode 308 of the Rubber Onion Animation Podcast, and we're calling this one There's a New Tariff in Town. This is a long title. Rob came up with that one. I didn't have time to debate it, so enjoy.
I'm Don Bluth.
I'm Harry Partridge.
Hi, I'm Tom Moore, teenage superhero.
My name's Adam Phillips.
This is Robert Valley.
And I'm in no way doing a forced plug. No, sorry. I won't say that.
And you're listening to RubberOnion.
So, as you know, today I bounced an onion off the floor.
Is Independence Day?
What? And
just today is our Independence Day. Go ahead.
Oh, well, as you know, before we record a podcast, this is the determination of when we decide to do a podcast, whether the onion bounces or not. And the onion bounced. So that usually means it's time to record. I was trying to work in some kind of
Is this supposed to be a Pope thing? Because it sounds more like Groundhog's Day.
Well, when I burned a beef patty...
Did the onion cast a shadow?
I put a beef patty in the microwave, and when I used the bathroom, and when I came out, there was smoke. That means it's time to record. True story, based on a true story.
I mean, we have told that story on the podcast before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we have. But the best thing about that is I asked, how long did you put it in? You're like, I don't know, 5 minutes. And I was like, it says on the package, it says like 2 minutes. And you're like, that's not long enough. I'm going to put it in for more than 2 times.
My thing is press 5, but my downfall was I went to go poop, and then I just started looking at my phone, and then
that's not your downfall. You put it in for, it's gonna continue going. Like if you had gone and then looked at your phone and it was on the stove or something. Yeah. Then, okay, that would be a problem because then it could be any amount of time. But you specifically chose 5 minutes. Like, if you had put in 2 minutes and gone to the bathroom, it would have been fine. But that's not what happened.
I could have, maybe I thought, even 5 seconds wouldn't have, it would have been frozen. So, yeah.
Yeah, 5 seconds would have been frozen. Yeah, that's, no, there's a big difference between 5. What is, are we even now, it's been like, what, 10 years?
It's an ongoing story. Much like the Pope.
Okay, it took forever to clean out that smell. There are a few things that are smellier than a burnt frozen beef patty.
And then we also had like baking soda around the house, so it just looked like we were in Scarface's mansion.
Yeah, we're just like throwing a snow party. I did that. I put it on trays so they have the maximum surface area. So that's that's why it's not just that it was just things of baking soda. I took out all the cookie sheets that we had, and I just poured baking soda on it. So I would, because my hypothesis was that if I spread it out over a wide space, that there's more baking soda touching the air, I guess, more surface area. So rather than just like in a box. And then also I did like I boiled water and vinegar just like all day. I just kept putting in water and vinegar in a pot and just boiling it so that it would go into the air and then get into our curtains and things. And the problem was the dust. Like the smell went into the dust. So it's like all the dust smelled like burnt beef patty.
You know who doesn't have to worry about that problem? The Pope, because he poops in the woods and there's no electricity in the woods.
That's true.
That's what I hear.
A lightning bolt? Now it's time for animation news of the week. Let's just get to it. We have 3 stories. And listen, last time that we talked, we had all these nice stories. And we don't now.
Yep. Thanks, Trump.
I guess that's the first story we should get to. So the first story is, so this one's kind of an evolving story, so it might change over time, as all things involving the current president of the United States. Trump plans to impose 100% tariff on all movies produced outside the U.S. That's basically like the article. There's IndieWire has been updating things as they go, but it started with him saying that we want movies made in America again, because everything is like that. And he said specifically 100% tariffs on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands.
So you mean like, for example, like Jason Takes Manhattan, where a lot of it was Manhattan in the movie, but a lot of it was filmed in Canada. So the pricing for that would be...
I think... See, this is the thing, is that as with everything, he'll say something, and then people are scrambling to figure out what does he mean? What does this mean? What does 100% tariff mean on a film? Because there are so many movies that are like, they might be... They're filmed over. It's like there's no one company or no one state that builds like an aircraft carrier, right? It's little parts that are built from many, many different things from all over the country and sometimes all over the world, and it, like all kind of gets put together. That's what happens with movies. Movies are incredibly collaborative, and they obviously go where they can save money, but they don't always. Like if a movie was trying to save as much money as possible, then they would go to where the cheapest thing was. They would hire the cheapest people. They would that's what they would do. But that's not always what happens. It's kind of a balancing act. They're like, where do we want to put our money the most, Yeah. And sometimes it's about like opening up relationships with another studio so that saying, okay, this is a new visual effects house. We kind of worked with this other thing. I want to give them as a, let's say a studio head or a production company or something. It's like, we want to give them some more work to kind of keep them on the hook so that we establish this relationship with them so that we have kind of an inside, we get like kind of a first look type of deal, relationship with a studio that's a visual effects studio outsourced, or maybe a place that helps with filming locations in another country or something like that. Yeah. Like sometimes it's not even about the film that they're making. Sometimes it's about the studio saying, we want you to use this company because it helps, with our larger idea. And it all kind of gets put into a budget. Anyway, my point is it's very complicated. And that's not even I don't make film budgets, so I'm just kind of talking based on little things that I've pieced together. It's 100% tariff on movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. That what part of it, right? Like how much of it? It's that thing going around like, what is a chair? You show a picture of a standard chair that everyone knows. Like, is it a chair or not chair? Chair, and then you show like kind of a recliner. You show a rocking chair. You show a stool. Aha. Now you're not so sure. You show a medicine ball that someone is sitting on in front of their chair or not chair. Well, they're using it as a chair. Is it a chair? Right? Where is the line between using a company or like or a part of the film being done overseas versus is it there is a tariff on any work done through overseas? Anyway, so there was a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, like would that imply like a lot of animation studios hire out animators to finish production in like overseas? Like,
by the way, just a side note, we could have talked about this in the How You Doing, but I made the mistake today of ordering an iced coffee from a place that I had not ordered from before, and that's totally fine. But normally I'll get an iced coffee, and then they'll give me a ice cubes in it. This one is like shredded ice, which is like the loudest thing. It's just loud. It's like the bigger ice cubes, for some reason I feel like I can kind of like covertly sip and you don't really hear it, but the little ones they always make this kind of pop. Anyway,
I like the big. No, I hate when the ice is too big and it gets stuck at the bottom. So when you lift your cup up,
that's because it gets warm and then it comes tumbling down your face.
And it just like punches you in the face. It's refreshing.
It's always funny to see.
Thanks, Trump. We're gonna make ice so big again. Sorry, that's the best.
Simultaneously, Gavin Newsom, who God, he seems to be in the news. Like he vacillates back and forth. It's like, oh, Gavin Newsom did this thing that I like. Gavin Newsom did this thing that I don't like. Anyway, so he did. He has a proposal to increase the state's tax program to $750 million, which increases where it is now. But I mean, that's over time it had been decreased anyway. So it starts with this idea of we are in the United States, you and me. Film production is and films in general, Hollywood is one of our biggest exports. It's one of our biggest industries. And so when this whole tariff thing was going right, it's like hitting everything. It's like tariffs, throwing tariffs around. Now they walk back the tariffs, and now there's like we're not having the tariffs on China. Like China, I don't know. It's too much to keep up on. We're not that. We are not knowledgeable enough to talk about the politics of all that kind of stuff. But so this administration has put forward, what do they call them? Special ambassadors. There's 3 special ambassadors for Hollywood, I guess. It's John Voight.
Oh boy.
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh.
Who is the other one? Who is the other special ambassador they had?
Oh, I saw John.
Oh, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson. It was Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and John Voight.
No wonder
special
why.
Ambassadors.
No wonder why they're against filming in other countries. First of all, John Voight got attacked by a giant snake. Sylvester Stallone, he goes at war in other countries. Everyone's always shooting at him. And Mel Gibson,
talking the Expendables.
Yeah, or Rambo.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, okay. The later Rambos, I guess, because First Blood. The whole point was that it was at home.
But then Mel Gibson also has to be charged a lot to do another Christ movie. The follow-up to
Listen.
Jesus. Jesus in Pain movie.
Okay. So John Voight came out and said, the president loves the entertainment business and this country and will help us make Hollywood great again. And then he said, we look forward to working with the administration, union studios, blah, blah, blah. IATSE actually came out and said a similar thing. Like, we will work with, we are aligned on this idea. We want to keep work here, but we... and the Animation Guild was like, we don't want to leave behind our Canadian, because, they started unionizing, helping to unionize Canadian workers as well up in Vancouver. And so, like, they can't just say, well, we want to keep it all here because now it's that. So it's like, oh, yeah, totally. Here in North America, it's like a way to get around it. And it's... this, I guess what is, again, the memo of the show is things that we would talk about. Like, this is the kind of thing that we would get together and over a drink go like, what the hell what does this even mean? Like, and then you have all these people that are saying, oh yeah, no, we'll work with the president, because if you have someone who has some power and is throwing around these ideas like, this is what I want to do, but they're saying, I want to bring jobs back, and your whole position is to also do that. You can't just say, no, I'm against this. I do not support his idea, because you can't come out anti-US jobs if you're in the business of U.S. jobs.
It's an interesting thing because on one hand, it's just like, yeah, it would be nice if, especially for animation, for more animators to get work. But how do you do something like this without affecting your relationship with other countries? And it just seems like he just kind of, I don't know. A lot of his ideas seem like he's on his way to the podium and someone whispers in his ear, I don't like the way this is being handled. And then he'll just be like, we're going to handle this thing that I just heard about right now. It doesn't seem like... Or
like he is watching TV and Escape from Alcatraz is on. And then by the way, can I say that when he made that speech and he was like, one person, almost got away, but they found his the wreckage of his boat. It was all torn up like sharks. And I heard that, and okay, so they used to play Escape from Alcatraz on TV a lot. I watched it, basically whenever it was on. I really enjoyed that movie. So when he started describing that, because I also got interested, it's like, oh, is this a true story? It's like, no, it's not. It's the movie, but it's kind of based on some things that they put together from other things. And I remember when he said they found his ship up and it was all torn up. Like, I was like, that's the movie. That's not. And then I found out that it was true. Someone went back and found that the night before he made that announcement, Escape from Alcatraz was on TV. It's insane. It's just insane.
We're going to send illegal immigrants to Skull Island. There's a giant gorilla there.
I mean,
the biggest gorillas that anyone's ever seen.
What would it be if it was like The Rock? Like The Rock was on, that was Alcatraz, right? You know what? It kind of reminds me of, I was listening to a podcast. It's probably Blank Check. They were talking about all the McTiernan movies, and it was Hunt for October. And I think they were talking about when Michael Crichton. Wait, was it Michael Crichton? No, it wasn't Michael Crichton. Is it John Grisham? Who wrote Hunt for October? Now I'm.
Oh, I couldn't.
Oh, Tom Clancy. Jeez, of course it's Tom Clancy. All the military stuff. But anyway, so. I guess what happened was the whole idea is that there is this super, super silent engine that works, that like, pushes it forward, that you can't hear. It's like super, super silent. And then when the book came out, I guess there was like some sort of congressional hearing that's like, hey, why don't we have this technology? Why does Russia have it? And they had to say, this is a book. This is not. It's not. This isn't a real thing. Like, oh yes, we've definitely tried to make something like this, but this is not a real technology. It's kind of based on some. It kind of feels a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But like in 2025. Anyway, point is, you have someone who says something like, yeah, Hollywood. I want to, bring back Hollywood, and also, I feel like, in part, there's this kind of rumbling, this underpinning rumbling of people even in the industry that are feeling like a little conflicted about the writer and actor strike because it had such a seismic thing. I mean, obviously, that's not to blame. It might have helped kick off something that studios were, inevitably going to do anyway. But it feels not calculated, but it feels like just trying to ride a wave of like, oh yeah, I'll fix Hollywood, because Hollywood is like broken because all these people like won't work, or they, and we're sending all this work overseas. There's just a lot of things that are like, yeah, I'll be the Hollywood guy. Hollywood loves me. I'll be the Hollywood guy. And so he just comes out and says, I'm just going to keep all the work here. You're just going to have to figure out a way to do it all here and not ship it overseas. And then all these people are going to have work. And then, of course, they're going to love him because he gave them work. But it's so complicated, like everything. You can't just say a thing and have it be that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big thing is like we need subsidies and tax incentives and things to help out. There's a lot of productions that are here in New York that probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the tax incentive that we have here. And it's the same with other places. You gotta bring them.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of pie in the sky kind of thoughts, and I think he puts it out there and hopes that his team can like figure it out, and he'll just say they're doing it.
Maybe. I don't even know if he I'm not sure. I'm not going to psychoanalyze the guy. I feel like that's like staring into the sun. But it feels sometimes, and I've known people who do this who will say something and then just expect that someone else is going to do it, and that's just on basic level. They're just like, we should, blah 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 blah, and then when you go, oh well, there's some very real things that you can do to like make that happen. It's like, oh yeah, but I'm a little busy right now, Like, but I mean, we should totally do this. Like, okay, so what you mean is, I should do this. What do you mean is like, and that I think I brought up the whole like, salad at fast food thing on the last episode, but it's the same kind of idea. People have this feeling of, this is the way it should be, but I'm not going to do it. But he takes it kind of a step further where he's like, I'm the ideas guy, I'm the one who comes up with the idea, make it happen. If you're playing the drinking game of how many times Steven brings up Friends, it's like when Jon Favreau was in Friends, and he was like, "Can we make it stick on a head of a pin? I love it when we make things that can fit on the head of a pin." It's like that kind of. Oh, he was playing a computer tech mogul guy, but it's like that. It's like you're just kind of going, yeah, let's just make all stuff happen here. We had talked about. In the last few weeks, we've talked about outsourcing, and I got a little fascinated with like, how did that happen and when did it happen? And the outsourcing in animation happened way, way earlier than I thought it did. Like way earlier, like basically right at the invention of animated films. Like even in like the 50s, like we're outsourcing basically like everything. And I think I didn't, it didn't really occur to me because I think of films, Disney animated films, and they were kind of alone, not alone, but like they were singular in that, having places here and having a whole system to. And now there's a new thing where they're bringing back the cleanup, which is so fascinating because James T. Nethery just found out his dad was a cleanup artist for Disney. He was talking about how like it's kind of a lost art. They're bringing that back. Did you see that? Disney is bringing back the
cleanup meaning like in between and kind of line work and stuff like that, right?
It's what I would call tie down in my work. It's going from kind of rough keys to tying down the keys from the information that you're getting from the animators, and then also doing filling in some more things, some more of the in-betweens, some more of some of the breakdowns maybe, in order, and then giving more information, I believe, for the in-betweeners that are going to come after you.
Now, do you think they're doing this out of Disney's doing this out of almost the answer to no, AI is not going to take over. We're bringing back these jobs.
No, I don't. I don't think they have any plans for that at all. I think they might do some animated shorts and things like that. Kind of a legacy thing. I think I honest to God, I think it's more of just to keep the art alive. But they're not. I don't think they have any plans for any long-term things. Anyway, so let's. So this John Voight, he said, creating the right environment through smart incentives, updated policies, much-needed support, we can ensure that American production companies thrive. More jobs stay here at home. Hollywood once again leads the world in creativity and innovation. And then, Hollywood labor unions have begun weighing in on the tariff proposal, echoing the Voight's call for a federal tax incentive. And then there's a suggestion of subsidies for theater owners, production companies, and post-production houses to help keep jobs stateside. And opening up co-productions could be beneficial given the number of projects that shoot in multiple locations, though it's unclear what involving the federal government in any film project would do for the movies. Just go to IndieWire. I guess I'll link this, obviously, but IndieWire has a bunch of things on there that they're keeping up with all this tariff talk and stuff. But this is the difficulty, I think, of it, because you want to go that's ridiculous. But also, it's well, yeah, of course, it would be great to have more jobs here. Excuse me, I'm going to cough off mic. Excuse me, I just coughed right in front of my dog's face.
It's he's barking at me?
I mean, she does that. Anyway, she burps, by the way. That's my dog. My dog is a my dog is a burpy dog. But it doesn't smell though. It's just I think, I don't know, she just gets excited and swallows air, and then every once in a while she just goes just burps. It's remarkably cute. Anyway, back to the seriousness of talking about it. But okay, so jobs. Yes, obviously we want to keep jobs here. We want to have jobs here. You don't want to say that you don't. And there is, if someone's willing to help, you kind of want to, you want to run down that line. You're like, okay, if you're willing to help, okay, let's figure this out. And I think it's tough. You don't want to make deals that are, Faustian, but you also, if someone is willing to do something that for whatever reason he thinks that this is good for him and his, because his administration or whatever. I just don't, I don't know. Maybe it is just for the purity of the American people, but it's probably not. But
it always sounds like a good idea until Trump gets too involved, and then it just seems like another format to be, dare I say, a dictator, where now he has control of this and he can kind of channel his energy through that. Because it's an interesting thing to talk about, but then once he gets involved, that's when he's like, now I have control over this. And I think he was a big part of entertainment back in the day. Look, he's trying to get his son to do a Discovery Plus nature show and all that stuff. And it's just about having control of all kind of outlets.
It's just following the David Attenborough documentary crew around to where they find all these unique animals and Don Jr. just shoots them.
Look at how beautiful and majestic this creature is. It's dead now.
It's like, I came up with this great idea. Instead of trying to track the animals, which is hard, I just track the documentary crews that find the animals for me, and that's easy. Yeah, it's tough because everyone's hurting, but you kind of go like, is this the right avenue? Is this the right, and I think that there are people that want to try to ride that wave and do some good with it. But yeah, to your point, I think that if you don't know what the motivation is and you don't know what the ultimate goal is, sometimes it's tough to get in bed with that in that way. That being said, there are some things that can be done to incentivize work in places, and it's the exact same things that other countries are doing. It's just that. Tax incentives are huge. They really are. They are very, very big, because every place that has some sort of tax incentive, some sort of an ability to write off a decent amount of money, usually based on geo-locking stuff, hiring people or driving work into a state, right? So like the state says, yeah, we want more productions here because it brings people here, it brings jobs here, it brings people that are going to spend money here, and so we will give a tax break on the amount of work that you bring here, over a certain amount. That's helpful. Government subsidies in general are helpful, that are outside of just tax breaks and returns on money, things that you can write off and saying, okay, we can just not pay taxes on this amount, which saves us a certain amount of money. But I think it's one of these evolving stories that's hard to pin down because there's no solid plan. But I think that it's early enough in the administration that if this is something that he wants to push, people are going to start trying to get on board, because they're going to think, yeah, this is something that's happening. And depending on what happens, this is for all our international people, but in every 2 years we have an election. 4 years is the major election. Every 2 years is a midterms election, and that's a lot of local government stuff. So in the next year and a half or so, until we get to those midterms, you kind of have to just follow along and see what's coming up. Like what's happening now? What's going on now? Is this going to help, or is this going to hurt? And ultimately, it's tough. You don't want to think, am I getting who's getting credit for this? Like, is that the thing that matters the most? It's just
because in one hand you want to say like, oh, you know what? I'll give him credit for this. I'll say that Trump helped with this situation, but it just feels like a lot of his powerful friends are saying, this is how you're going to get money in the back end of this. And there just seems to be some kind of, I don't know whether it's just because it's Trump, you don't want but it's just like, you never heard a president talk about this many things at the same time. And it's like he's in a race to do as much as he can before his presidency is over or before he's gone. And it doesn't seem like he's doing it out of the kindness of I want to change things for the positive. A lot of it just seems like it's leaning towards how it's going to benefit him.
Right.
But maybe I'm just
that's all we got to say about that.
Leftist.
We can move on to the next story.
Radical leftists. Every time I hear radical leftists, I picture some guy with a turtleneck surfing.
With a turtle? Why is a turtleneck?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of the most
Oh, you're saying a turtleneck is leftist?
Uptight leftist, maybe wearing one of those French beret hats. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of things that are changing in the future, in the entertainment industry, the future of Cartoon Network looks very bleak, according to Bloomberg Business. This was
I like how you just read
the headline.
Okay. But yeah, okay, but that's not the headline on Bloomberg. That is the Cartoon Brew headline.
Yes, the headline on the Bloomberg thing, which Cartoon Brew is referring to, is called Cartoon Network's Last Gasp.
Yes.
So we all thought cartoons can't die, but apparently they can. More than just ooze. So yeah, this is pretty much an article of the state in Cartoon Network and how it's just kind of the downfall. Some of the main points of the article was talking about such things as the advertisement revenues in Cartoon Network and Adult Swim was plummeted 80% over the last decade, from $668.3 million in 2014 to $133.7 million in 2024. That's still a lot of money to me, but I guess it's not enough for corporations. But a lot of stuff also is just streaming services taking over. No one's doing cable anymore. My parents still pay an arm and a leg for cable for some reason because streaming is too difficult for them.
You know, I actually talked to someone this last weekend who has actual cable, right? Like not like you have cable channels via some streaming thing like YouTube TV or something like that, or like Sling, I guess is another one, but like cable television with a box and everything.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about this one thing because also I never had a place when I had cable for myself. I never had a place that had more than one TV, but you have to pay for every box if you're going to have multiple TVs that can all be on different channels. And so I was talking to them and it was like 200 and almost $250 a month, you know, for cable. And then I think it was like 3 boxes. I think is what it was. And no premium channels, but then it had like internet with it, right? That whole package. That's a decent amount of money for cable. I mean, I understand why, I guess, but if cable wanted to be competitive in that way. But see, this is more of like a telecom thing, right? Because I don't think, you know, it's not the same thing as like getting advertising. Like cable companies are not getting money from advertisers. It's a telecom thing, you know. It's what you're ordering. So yeah, it kind of feels like that's part of the issue is that it's complicated. It's more complicated. Everyone has internet, and so you can just like choose what you're going to start and stop. But with cable TV, it's you have to go through one company to then, you know.
My parents pay a similar amount. I think they pay like 200 and something, and it's just I can't. For the life of me, I like flipping through channels and discovering something, and we don't get that anymore. And that's also one of the downfalls that's happening now, because with Max deleting most of the Cartoon Network shows, you're not really stumbling upon anything
right
to see it. So it's just like there's no exposure for these like cartoons.
It's a strange thing to see because I mean a lot of this obviously is the AT&T merger buyout, whatever. I forget how it was actually said, but it feels like we have been feeling the effects of the Zaslav era for like the last few, 5 years, right? 2020, whatever. I mean, basically ever since they came up with HBO Max and it turned into Max like ultimately, but like ever since then, it's just been on this like kind of steady decline. Now, I will say that right now, basically all the TV shows that I am watching are on Max. I mean, I'm watching The Studio, which is on Apple TV, which is great. But, The Rehearsal, Last of Us, Hacks, Last Week Tonight, those are all on HBO.
Yeah.
I just finished The Pit. That was on HBO. Well, I say HBO, but like I said, they keep saying this is a Max original instead of like saying HBO. Anyway.
Yeah.
And as far as animation goes, as far as Adult Swim type of stuff goes, I mean, they've had good things on the streaming service. It just might not be getting the views. Either that or they just don't care.
Well,
but it does feel like yeah.
Adult Swim is doing a lot better than Cartoon Network.
Because it's adults. I feel like what this doesn't really speak to as much is the reasoning behind saying we're not. And this is what Zaslav was, saying the pivot was. We're doing, adults and family. Families, not kids. That's what it basically was saying. Like family entertainment is fine. They're not going to be specifically going after kids. And I think that also came after a wave of this understanding of that shift that a lot of young kids are watching YouTube, and then as they get older, they're still watching YouTube, TikTok, social media, like whatever's like put in front of them. Games is another thing. The actual time that kids might sit down to watch TV is less. Now, chicken or the egg, doesn't matter. But at least in his case, he didn't seem interested in trying to woo this demographic back, because it requires you getting the parents to then say, oh yes, this is what I want to have my kids watch, and let's sit down and and it's a different situation where when you were a kid, you could just pick a channel and just go to a channel and you knew you had all that stuff. But on Max, it's like if you go to Netflix, you can choose. There's a kids version of it. You can open it and go like, okay, here's the thing, or you can go to Netflix Kids, and Netflix Kids, it just has all stuff, and you could just have it. And that is like the new thing. Is I've seen this with my own two eyes, just opening up the Netflix app and clicking on Kids. Not your account, not your parent account, but Kids, and then they just get to watch whatever they want on the thing. The same thing goes for YouTube. Go open up YouTube, and you just got to select YouTube Kids, and your kids can kind of jump around and watch whatever they want. And it's the same as having cable and just putting on Nickelodeon, putting on Cartoon Network, putting on something, and just having your kids watch cartoons, and just knowing that during this block, this is what's going to be here.
Yeah.
And Max I think didn't have any. Max, I say Max as though it's the app that's the problem, but like they just didn't seem to want to solve that issue and give a hub that was just for parents to be able to put this on and say, boom, kids can watch this thing.
Yeah, but I guess they also forget that a lot of the viewers from a lot of it is adults, millennials mostly, going back to their, I guess the nostalgic thing. Oh, I want to go watch.
I don't think they forget that. I don't think
I guess
they
it
forget
doesn't
that
matter
because they're selling off the streaming rights to other companies. So like it might be on Hulu, even though
Tubi's
it was
a lot of,
Warner Brothers. Tubi's taking, yeah, exactly. So it's not like they're like, oh, it's just we don't want to have it here. That's basically what's going on. And I think it seems to be this article that was on Bloomberg seems to be essentially saying that the cable side of things is dying and the Warner Brothers Discovery side of things is not supporting the cable, the channel aspect of it, because it's not giving also an avenue for it to go from, to have a place on TV and a place on the streaming service. It's just kind of going, look, whatever we got, let's just sell it off to whoever, and don't focus on the channel.
Yeah. Side note, did you see the illustration in the Bloomberg article?
Yeah, the one at the top?
Yeah. I think it looks cool, but have you seen Johnny Bravo in there? It's like,
so I can't though, because when it comes up, I only see the top of it. I see a Warner Brothers foot, and then I see the Powerpuff Girls drawn in that way, and I think I see the guy from Adventure Time. That's all I see. Like, it's,
okay.
I get this subscribe now for uninterrupted access.
I got that as well. I saw it on I saw it on Twitter because people have been talking about the illustration itself. But yeah, it's a kind of weird design. They all for the most part look great. But I'll just send you a screen grab of it when I can. Talk among yourselves in the comments below. Tell us what you think about the design. Why did I point out like this is a YouTube video?
I don't know.
Well, it will be.
I guess technically, yeah, it is. That's it. I mean, there's nothing again, it's like there's not really a lot to bite into on it. It's just kind of another example of the slow decline of I don't know. I feel like some people feel listen, I loved Cartoon Network. I loved Adult Swim. And obviously we're in a time where it's sad to see a lot of opportunities and, kind of like nostalgic things for us start to go away.
Yeah.
My take on it, my big concern is there going to be anything that is going to fill in that gap? That's the big question for me. It's not really about Cartoon Network. It's about what Cartoon Network did for animation, did for children's entertainment, then going into adult entertainment. Not adult entertainment, entertainment that adults, kids entertainment that adults can enjoy. Let's say, it's not really about that in particular going away. I think it's kind of. I feel like it's a bigger version of like when, I hated it when Amity Island's attraction at Universal Studios was like demoed in favor of Harry Potter World. But Harry Potter World also was this giant thing. Like, people love it. People go there and everything. And I don't really like Harry Potter. So it has nothing. It's got nothing for me, But but Jaws is one of my favorite movies. That was a destination. Like, I always went to that side of things, which had this like fun. New England, Martha's Vineyard kind of, like Locked in the 70s.
Yeah.
Location, and then the ride was really fun. Anyway, so for me, it was really sad to see it go, and a lot of people didn't care. And then what came into it, what went to its place, it appealed more to the people that were going there currently, and I'm kind of outside of that. So I feel like it could be similar to this, maybe Cartoon Network kind of isn't as relevant as it once was, but I just don't believe that you couldn't make it relevant. But channels go away a lot, depending on if someone's watching, if they're relevant or not anymore. Some of them only stick around for like a few years.
I think
it's just sad for a lot of us because we're perpetually on the internet, and it's like people are like, oh, it's so sad to see it go. It's like, but do you watch it? Do you turn on cable? Do you watch Cartoon Network? Maybe some people do. I do feel like there's probably people who are like, yeah, I do, but they're lying.
Yeah. We stream it whenever we can. And those shows will find their outlets. But I think it's one of those things where when Cartoon Network came out, we couldn't believe it because there was no way of really, other than a VHS tape, watching 24 hours of cartoons. It was unheard of.
Yeah.
And now that's not such a unique concept. Right now, it just feels like how McDonald's used to look, where you go to the back room and there was like the hamburger chairs and the tree with the face that looked horrifying. And we loved that. And now it's just this box that is just unimaginative. Yeah. They showed something recently.
I think about classic Pizza Hut all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like the design of classic Pizza Hut, because I went to a Pizza Hut not too long ago. I was like, what is this? What is this crap? This doesn't look like Pizza Hut.
It's just depressing. But it's just, that's part of getting old, you know?
I don't even know if it's a part of getting old. I think it's just part of time marching forward and going on. You know, it's just, that's what happens. It's sad. I just want to see something kind of move into its place is the big thing.
Maybe they should do
I did like how they dropped common side effects like 5 times in that article.
Yeah.
Like and it was like, honestly, I watched it and my initial takeaway was like, this just doesn't feel like it's for anyone, like that anyone. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't have anything to watch at the moment. So I put it on again. And the more that I put it on, it came full circle back around. It's like, ooh, I love this. Like in the beginning, it was kind of, oh, that's fun. And then it kind of dropped down in the middle, which is a weird thing. It dropped down in the middle for me of like, I don't know that I really care about this anymore. And then I just watched it because I didn't have anything else. And then by the end of that season, it shot back up again.
Oh, nice.
So it was very strange. It was a very strange experience for a season.
Maybe that's one of the common side effects of the show.
I get it. Well, I think we don't really have anything else to say.
Yeah, that's all. I guess it's time to wrap it up and,
rapid fire.
You'll get caught up in it.
I don't understand why you can't say it. Can you get on my page for once with this rapid fire?
That's just too rapid with it.
Some energy and you're like, rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
But you also, sometimes you say fire very quickly. You're like, rapid fire.
It's like,
You know what I think it is? I think when we are in the same room, you do it with the energy that I bring here. But when you are remote and you are like, you don't. You just kind of like go rapid fire.
It's raining right now. I hear the rain banging against the window. It's just, It's a hot cocoa kind of time right now.
All right, are you ready to do this? Because these are like 90% stories that you submitted.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, all right. Let's go rapid fire. Ted, the animated series. That's a thing that is coming out.
Why? I mean, the whole concept of the show is this teddy bear that comes to life in a real environment. So it's just Family Guy or American Dad.
I think it is funny because I think that the show that they did, that we kind of talked about, that was the same idea, live action hybrid, CG animated, and it was a motion capture, right? I think that one took a lot of money and a lot of time to do, and he still thinks that this property has legs. And what's cheaper? Animation. It just really speaks to where we are in animation. I think he just looked at it and was like, yeah, it's just cheaper to just knock this out. And someone will probably watch it. That's probably why.
People will.
Right? Yeah. All right. Rapid fire. Goodfellas Animation will handle sales on Andy Serkis's feature animation directorial debut, Animal Farm.
Now, I never seen the original Animal Farm, but I just remember it being animals attacking the farmers. I always thought it was for adults because I thought it was just a more violent. Maybe the book is more violent. But yeah, as far as Goodfellas,
I mean it's political.
Goodfellas Entertainment. I saw one of their pitch meetings, It was this guy. He had a really kind of like story about something, and one of the guys he was pitching to, he was like, "Hey, you're a funny guy," and he was kind of really mean. So I guess they kind of like maybe bully their way into distributing these films because he something about a shine box or something.
Do you want me to save you?
Yeah.
Okay, rapid fire. Learning with Pibbies. You shared this video, this update.
Yeah. So the creator of Learning with Pibby, he recently made a post on Instagram, kind of just giving up on the whole concept of it. There was a lot of attention towards it. The pilot for it actually has like, oh my god, I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't find it. Millions of views, but it just kind of fell flat, and he kind of had a lot of depression about it. But he's kind of learning to kind of grow away from it. But he's been posting a lot of storylines, which one of them is featured Kurt's Cowardly Dog brutally dying, which people were kind of back and forth with whether they like that concept or not. But I just thought it was an interesting thing, and I think maybe we'll get more into that, kind of talk about it in further shows.
Yeah. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
This one I just wrote down as Chee-hoo. It's another AI animation startup. It has a few people behind it, like the former president of DreamWorks Animation, Christopher, who's also a producer on Coyote vs. Acme. They have guys from Apple, Rideback co-CEOs, Deep Learning Tech. I'm just gonna read this thing of what they want to do. Chee-hoo has an opportunity to reduce the cost of animation production overall. That means it can have sophisticated creators easily create animation films without having an expensive studio setup. Using AI, the company is trying to put an enterprise or big studio level workflows into a tool enabling independent filmmakers to individuals to be creatives with animation features. It is also doing all this while providing creative control to users, which creatives have always wanted. Is so evident by the person calling animation films and creative with animation features. Like, just the way no one says animation films, right? Animated films, sure. Animation films, it feels like someone said, like I don't know, like your parents just being like, "You gonna watch the Seinfelds?"
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it just
What are
it's
those
not.
cartoony pictures?
We're gonna watch Bob Burger.
People used to
anyway.
say Bart Simpson. You gonna watch Bart Simpson?
Rapid fire. Cartoona and Irony Point acquire surreal indie animated feature Boys Go to Jupiter. It's not just about that. They're going to be producing the Blu-ray also for Hundreds of Beavers.
Oh, okay. I still haven't checked that, but
It's just such an interesting. So Cartoona Animation Studio here in New York, and they're getting into the distribution game, but also into Blu-rays. It's just an interesting development.
yeah. Also, happy 10th year anniversary. I got to hang out with the Cartoona crew for their party, and met a lot of people who worked on the Goofy thing, the 360, where you get to be at a Powerline show with Goofy and Max. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
So, rapid fire.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's it. That's the end of rapid fire. So since Rob, you have to go, since we record this in the morning, that'll do it for this episode of the Rubber Onion Animation Podcast. It's hard to say that one that time. Rob, they can follow you at Rob Ufo everywhere. You can follow me at Rubber Onion everywhere. See you next time.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.